Welcome to my presentation on cross-curricular teaching between science and English. This presentation will aim to cover what is meant by cross-curricular, the links between science and English, the advantages and disadvantages to teaching in a cross-curricular manner, how ICT can be used within lessons, and finally we'll conclude on if subjects should be taught discretely or in a cross-curricular way. Before looking at cross-curricular teaching between science and English, we must first look at what is meant by cross-curricular teaching or learning. Beckman, 2009, states that it is when teaching within a field crosses subject boundaries and subjects are integrated together. This was expanded on by Barnes, 2010, who suggested that it is the application of the skills, knowledge and attitudes from different disciplines to a single theme, problem, idea or experience that result in cross-curricular learning. So it is important not just to focus on what is being learned, but the skills involved in that learning. The new National Curriculum for England states that the use of language, writing and vocabulary is a vital part of every subject. It goes on to further suggest that a good knowledge of the English language is essential for success in all subjects. So it can be deduced that to succeed within the science curriculum, children need to be able to use their literacy skills confidently. Ray, 2006, stated that within science, children require literacy skills such as listening, speaking, reading and writing to be able to analyse and respond to the world around them, construct knowledge and convey their understanding to others. Children without these skills may find science a difficult topic to engage with. Looking at the curriculum for both science and English, it can be seen that there are natural links between them. In the extract it is illustrated that there is a need for understanding, explaining and using the correct vocabulary in both science and English curriculum. This connection was supported by Farmery, 2002, who suggested that the connection is not an artificial one and that both benefited from being studied together. Ray, 2006, further illustrated the links between science and English. He identified skills used within science that are also important within English, as they involve the use of a combination of speaking, reading, listening and writing. These science skills include classifying, predicting, instructing, describing, summarising, discussing, arguing, explaining and recounting. Looking at discussing as an example of this combination, it can be seen that individuals will need to engage in both speaking to get across their point and listening in order to relate to what people have said. Discussing is also a vital skill in both science and English, as children need to be able to discuss to further the understanding and engagement of both themselves and their peers. So why take a cross-curricular approach to teaching when subjects can be taught discretely and still utilise these skills? Hayes, 2010, found that some teachers felt separating the subjects to teach them discretely can form barriers within the minds of young children, making it difficult for them to make connections between the knowledge they have gained in different subject areas. For example, a child may learn how to make use of different question types within an English context, but when questioning in science, they use only simple questions as they are unable to connect questioning in science to questioning in English. So it has been argued that a cross-curricular learning allows children to use and apply the skills and knowledge they have gained from one area of study to reinforce and expand their learning in other areas of study, therefore removing the barriers between the subject and combining relevant information and skills together to form a more holistic approach to learning. Furthermore, Kerry, 2011, suggested that sharing thinking and information across areas of knowledge can improve the insight, understanding and problem-solving capabilities of children. They then went on to suggest that this approach promotes worth of knowledge opposed to creating a competition between different forms of knowledge. However, within the literature there are a number of advantages and disadvantages that have been associated with taking a cross-curricular approach. Many advantages to taking a cross-curricular approach to teaching have been identified within the literature. It has been argued that teaching subjects in a cross-curricular way allows for a more holistic approach to learning. This erodes boundaries between the subjects and allows more connections to be made. Rose, 2009, states that this then provides opportunities for children to apply knowledge and skills across the subjects. This helps children to learn not only what they are studying, but how to study, as it can be better seen how different skills can be used to learn, investigate and research. Ofsted, 2010, stated that the broad range of skills developed by cross-curricular projects are vital for later success and help children to learn how to work both collaboratively and independently. As well as the building of skills, cross-curricular learning can engage children's imagination. This encourages children to become more inquisitive and promotes discussion and debate. This enthusiasm for learning has been suggested to deepen understanding as children are more engaged. It has further been suggested that teaching subjects within a cross-curricular context makes education more relevant and meaningful to children, as it can provide context for learning, allowing children to see how skills may be used in later life. However, like any approach, there have also been a number of disadvantages attributed to it. Hayes 2010 found cross-curricular to mean a broad range of things and criticised that it did not have a single true identity. He took this to mean that there was no consensus amongst the educators over its definition. This then has many implications for the planning and implementation of cross-curricular teaching, as different educators may have different views on what it is. This in turn could have a big impact upon the research into cross-curricular teaching. It could be suggested that research is not truly reflecting the impact of cross-curricular teaching as a whole, but simply the educators' and researchers' own ideas of what cross-curricular teaching is. Hayes 2010 also found that cross-curricular teaching was often approached through the use of project or thematic work. This often allowed children to skim over or avoid areas of the curriculum they were less confident in or did not like. They argued that this has instilled poor habits and attitudes, as well as providing a bad work ethic for later life. Kelly, 2011, found that many researchers criticised the cross-curricular approach for fragmenting and watering down subject areas. They found that often tenuous links were made between subjects, often using only a keyword approach to link them. This could lead to superficial learning. In addition to this, an Ofsted report in 2010 also found that some schools could not effectively record the progress of their pupils in cross-curricular lessons. This could be due to the way in which cross-curricular learning was approached within those schools. There are, however, some suggestions on how to overcome some of these disadvantages. Farmery, 2002, stated that when planning for cross-curricular teaching, there must be a clear objective. For example, when teaching English and science together, it must first identify if science is being used as a context within English, or if English is being used as a context within science. These clear objectives make assessing easier and should prevent the fragmentation and watering down of subjects. Beckman, 2009, stated that for cross-curricular teaching to be successful, it must aim to enrich children's learning and not be planned simply to cram subjects together. This focus on enrichment leads the way to a more purposeful use of cross-curricular teaching. ICT can be used to aid learning, both cross-curricular and discrete. Rose 2009 believed that ICT should be embedded throughout the primary curriculum as it prepares children for the technologies of the future and makes a unique contribution to each area of learning, as well as supporting independent learning. This supported Farmery's earlier claim that new technologies had a profound impact upon teaching. Furthermore, technologies such as animated movies can be used to demonstrate phenomena that could not otherwise be illustrated within the classroom. This is particularly useful within science, as it allows children to visualize processes that cannot be easily seen, such as ones that occur at a microscopic level. Barak et al. 2010 also found when implementing the use of technology within the classroom, children felt a deeper connection between what was being learned and their everyday life. This in turn made children more enthusiastic about what they were learning. This presentation has illustrated how English and science can benefit from being taught in a cross-curricular way, provided that the aims and objectives are clear. However, there is also need for teaching discreetly, as some skills require fostering through discrete teaching before being applied. Topics that do not have clear links should also be taught discreetly. In conclusion, I believe there is a balance of discrete and cross-curricular teaching that enables children to better understand the world around them. Furthermore, it has been demonstrated that ICT has its place within the classroom. In this technological age, the correct use of ICT can enhance understanding and demonstrate phenomena that children would be unable to see under ordinary circumstances. It also prepares children for life in the digital age. Thank you for watching my presentation on cross-curricular teaching in science and English.